Alrighty, this is Aussie Gamer 17 and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Achievement College. We're playing some more Prison Architect today and we're going for the achievement The Justice System for 30 Gamerscore. And to get this achievement we need no deaths, no escapes or riots for 10 in-game days in Prison Architect mode on a standard difficulty. So that means we're going to go into Prison Architect mode and into just county difficulty, and we're not allowed to change any of the conditions, otherwise it'll mean that it's a custom difficulty. So that's what we're going to do, and I'm going to show you an easy way to achieve this, to get that no escapes, no riots and no deaths. Let's do it. Okay, so here we are, we're just starting a brand new prison on Prison Architect mode. Now to get this achievement we actually need a minimum of just one prisoner, but we're actually going to intake 3 minimum security prisoners, and what we're doing first is we're building 3 luxury cells from the quick room menu option, putting 3 luxury cells in here. Then we'll put a canteen and a kitchen in as well. And what the plan is to make it as cushy as possible for these 3 prisoners. The reason we've got 3 is in case one of them gets an early release or something like that and doesn't make it to the 10 days. And if one does leave like that, we're going to make sure we bring in another prisoner to replace him, just so that we've always got those 3 prisoners going. So yeah, so we've got the 3 luxury rooms, now the canteen and the kitchen. And now we're going to need to build 3 officers. We need a warden, of course, and we need a psychologist, and we need a foreman. We need the warden so that we can hire the other 2, and we need the psychologist so that we can monitor our little guy's needs in case something comes up that we need to address before the end of the 10 days. And we need the foreman so that we can hire janitors to keep the place clean, and as I said before, make this as cushy as possible. Now we just put in a utilities room, and now we're putting in a common room for our guests, and the next thing we want to do is build a yard for them as well. So we're going to make sure they get plenty of recreation, plenty of exercise, just making sure all their needs, if you're not sure about the needs, I've covered a lot in previous videos, and we're just making a yard here now, and that'll pretty much be it, unless something comes up. One mistake I did make here accidentally actually is that I made this yard an indoors yard. If you can, don't do what I do and actually just make it surrounded by walls and make it an outdoors area. What ends up happening during this playthrough is my 3 prisoners start getting quite frustrated under the need of freedom, and in this game, to alleviate that need, it means they're not getting enough sunlight. So having an outdoors yard and giving them yard time will help reduce the need for freedom for your prisoners. Okay, the next step is we're going to hire some guards to take care of the prisoners. That helps them feel safer as well. You don't really need too many, so what have I got? 5 or 6 there. We'll hire a couple of cooks and hire our warden as well. And once we've hired our warden, we can go across to bureaucracy. I can never say that word properly. So then we can research psychology and maintenance so that we can get our psychologist and our foreman. And now I'm just going to run power and water to the whole facility, but I'll just skip the video ahead until after I've done that. You guys should be all over that by now. With that done, quickly intake 2 minimum security prisoners, or if you can, do 3. And while we were doing that, our research has completed, so we can now hire our foreman. And I tried to hire a psychologist, but I've reached my daily limit in terms of the wages I can pay. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to fire some of our workers or workmen, because we don't really need to construct too much at the moment. So I'll just fire a few of those, and hopefully that'll free up some space for the psychologist. And there we go. So now we've got the psychologist as well. And the next step is to go into our bureaucracy and research the cleaning so that we can hire some janitors to keep the prison clean, because that's another thing that the prisoners will start getting annoyed about. And when that research is complete, going to hire staff and just hire up a couple of janitors. We don't need many, but a bit of overkill. We'll put 4 in there. This tiny little prison, more janitors than prisoners. Speaking of which, we can now intake our 3rd minimum security prisoner, so grab him. And the reason obviously we're doing minimum security, they're less likely to cause any trouble, they're easier to maintain, and they're not going to riot. Now head into the regime tab, and we want to make sure that they've got plenty of yard time and free time and recreational sort of time. We're also going to give them another shower, so twice a day. That'll stop the hygiene problem from rising. Okay, and here's where I realised that I've made my second mistake with the yard. So I mentioned earlier that we want to make sure it's an outdoor yard. Mine's indoors, but I've also forgotten to actually mark out the yard. So what you need to do is obviously use the rooms function to designate the area as a yard, and that's the only way your prisoners will know that that's where they can go during yard time and they get some exercise. But apart from that, the only thing we're going to do now is we're going to be just speeding up time with the needs screen showing as we've got here, and just monitoring it. If anything crops up, something starts to get orange and red, we may need to deal with it along the way. So if that comes up, I'll skip the video ahead to there. If not, we'll be skipping ahead to, I think it'll be the end of the 11th or 12th day, depending on when we first intook our first prisoner, if they stay around for the 10 days. So I'll see you guys on the other side. Okay, and it was here that I realised that the clothing need was starting to get a little bit concerning. Nothing too bad, and it probably wasn't really important, but considering I'm just sitting waiting for time to tick away, I decided that I'll build a laundry. So we'll just map out a little area up here for a small laundry to big enough to suit our 3 inmates. Alright, so now here we are towards the end of day 11, about to tick over into day 12, and that should be it for our 10 days with no escapes, no deaths, no riots. I had no other real dramas pop up other than the ones I've already described to you guys, and we're going to pop, that achievement's going to pop for us any moment. There it is, the beautiful sound, 30 Gamerscore, that justice system achievement is ours, and that's the sound of the bell. Class is dismissed. I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. If you've enjoyed it and if it helped out, please give us a thumbs up, and remember to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It'll really help out the channel and mean that I can bring you guys even more Achievement College. But for now, I will catch you all next time.